Let's all go to the game shop. Let's all go to the game shop. What's up, nerds? It's your boy, the OGGM, coming to you live at 8:35 in the morning on this, the 13th day of September in the year of our Lord Steve the Cat, 2023. It's about 72 degrees and cold and foggy and just a bit of winter is in the air. And if you don't believe me, head on over to Target. They're already putting up their Christmas stuff. Yeah. It's Wednesday, which means it's time to head on over to our friendly local game store and see what's new on the shelves this week. That is, if you live in a town that happens to have a friendly local game store, and that friendly local game store is brave enough to actively support role-playing. Unlike me, who lives within a 20-minute drive of six game shops, none of which actively support role-playing. But I'm not bitter. But remember also, the shipping thing is still a thing. So before you head on over to see if they have these in stocks, call ahead and ask them to hold it for you or order it for you if they haven't gotten yet. And while you're on the phone with them, remind them that you got this information from the OGGM. And if they haven't subscribed to the OGGM's YouTube yet, they should take a second and subscribe. Help this poor sap reach 2,000 subs by the end of the year. He will be very grateful. I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful. All right, let's see what's new. Well, we have some new stuff for Warhammer fantasy role-playing game. This is called the Sea of Claws and features a sea monster and a boat. This is a $40 hardcover supplement about, wait for it, exploring the oceans of the world of Warhammer 40K, which, as you know, I love pirate, dinosaur, jungle island. So anything with pirates and sea monsters, I love. This book also covers ship-to-ship combat, trade, stuff like that. You know, the kind of things you'd want to know if you were running a sea-based fantasy role-playing scenario in this world or any fantasy-type world. I suppose you could use the information in here for any other game system if you were going to be doing all pirate eats and stuff like that. So yeah, $40. And we have this thing, another collection of these things. I love these things, even though they are extremely pricey. These are the huge epic encounter boxes. They usually come with 10 to 18 figures, plus a map, plus scenarios. So for $50-$60, it's a great way to get a huge chunk of figures, plus some maps and some other stuff. Now, they're a little pricey for me, but if you were a figure dude, you know, you're like, hey, you know, I want to do these encounters. So these are the two newest ones. The first one is Camp of the Bandit Twins. It includes 18 pre-assembled miniatures all around bandit encounters, including the aforementioned Bandit Twins, who I guess are high-level NPCs. Then we have Cave of the Minotaur, which brings us a Minotaur and a couple other figures that are all themed around a cave. This one doesn't say how many figures it comes with, but I'm going to assume it's more than one. So probably have one large Manticore Minotaur figure and then a couple smaller figures of the minions of the Manticore. Ogres or orcs or goblins or kobolds or whatever. So for $55, $60 for each of these, great deal if you are a figure dude and you have the space for them and you just need a huge chunk of relatively themed around the same thing miniatures. Yeah, I like these. From Fat Goblin Games, we have some zines about doing stuff while you're traveling through D&D. We've got the Handbook of Overland Expeditions and the Handbook of Overland Expeditions. The first one's about camping, and the second one is about hunting and trapping. So these are $15 each. There are downtime activity zines is what they're being advertised of. The first one, Around the Campfire, is $15 worth of rules and supplements on setting up camp and keeping busy between adventures. So what? It's like a scout's guide to how to set up a camp, how to set up a fire, how to set up a tent, how to make your food bear safe. Is that a thing? I mean, you know, for $15. Yeah. I mean, if it's actually giving me real world skills I could use, sure, I guess. On the other hand, do you really want to set aside 2 hours of your game time just to role play setting up camp. The second one, Hunting and Trapping, explores the challenges and difficulties of surviving the wilderness and, more importantly, getting and eating animals. That seems to be a theme lately, hunting and eating things. I guess it's because Thanksgiving's coming up. I don't know. We got some DCC love. We've got the Dungeon Crawl Classics reference book list and 2 new sets of DCC dice. I should let you guys, we should do a dice thing about the DCC dice someday, because this is definitely one of the largest collections of weird dice. I mean, it's a D16 for God's sakes. So the DCC's reference book is a complete collection of all the charts and stuff like that you might run into in DCC, like the random magic chart, the random treasure chart, all the other stuff like that. And then these are just themed dice. One is called the Mighty Dice of Arms, and the other is called the Mercurial Magic. And they're basically just colored dice. We have the D3, D4, D5, D7, D8, D10, D12, D14, D16, D20, D24, and the D30 plus percentile dice, because God love DCC. In all my years of playing DCC, I've never used half of these dice in the game, but they exist. The dice sets are $35 each, and the book is $10. Renegade Games Studio is also doing the whole Onyx Path thing. We've got some love from them for Werewolf the Apocalypse. This is we've got a new 5th edition of the Werewolf Apocalypse core rulebook and the Werewolf the Apocalypse official dice bag. So there's a $15 dice bag with a sticker on it that looks supposed to look like claw slashes. And then for $55, you can get the latest incarnation of Werewolf the Apocalypse 5th edition. That's the one that Renegade Games Studios is doing, as opposed to the one Onyx Path is doing. And yes, I know it's confusing, but I can't even explain it, even if I tried. Then we have something called Soul Mist. Soul Mist core rulebooks, Darklands, a source book for Soul Mist. Soul Mist, the Map of Freya, the Soul Mist GM screen, and the Soul Mist dice set from Black Lantern Productions. This is a D&D 5e campaign setting, hardcover rulebook and supplements. $50 gets you the rulebook. $40 gets you the source book, $15 gets you the map, $20 gets you the DM screen, and $15 gets you the dice set. The dice set being these dark colored off-grade charcoal gray, I'm going to say charcoal gray dice, standard dice set. What is Soul Mist? I'm going to just say it's a game about, I don't know, grim dark role-playing. So, here we go. A journey from darkness to light is a dark fantasy world. PCs lead the charge in the world of Freya against the forces of the dark, who hide in the shadows beyond the dark. What are you trying to say to us, guys? A journey from darkness to light, and it is a dark fantasy world leading the charge into Freya against the forces of dark, who hide in the shadows beyond the dark. Darky dark, 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 darky dark, dark. So, yeah, it's another dark, grim, dark fantasy setting for D&D, because apparently people think that's a thing. I want my D&D to be dark and deadly and grim and hopeless. And, I want to encounter stuff that makes the Black Company look like a comedy, right? Man. But I want it to be safe. I want my grim, dark fairy tale, spooky role-playing game setting of horrible, awful things and horrible, awful people in a horrible, awful world. But I want it to be safe. I don't want to ever feel like something bad could happen to my character, even though this is the campaign setting I want to play in. 5e, people. Yeah. And that's it for today. If any of these sound like products you want to pick up, let me know. But please call ahead and make sure your game shop of choice has them in stock. Don't blame me if they don't. If any of this sounds like something you want to pick up, let me know. If you like that I do this every week, please let me know. If you don't like that I do this every week, please let me know. Till next time, I have been your grumpy guide to all the tabletop role-playing game news, weather, and general internet nonsense that is the OGGM. Holiday season is coming up, as I know it's hard to believe it, but it is. So it's time to start thinking about what you are going to get me for Christmas. And you know what I want? I want you to subscribe. Please subscribe. I'll talk to y'all later. Get off my land. Let's all go